Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.
This is what everyone's talking about.
Everything's on the table.
This is what champions come to take. This is what everyone came to see.
And the slam!
No do-overs. No second chances. No more Mr. Nice Guy. This is winner take all. And it's all happening now on the home of the NBA Finals. Don't miss it. June 3rd on ABC and the ESPN app.
You know, I speak to a lot of people, including the president, but a lot of people on this show about a lot of different policies. And we just had Alex Trayman on from Israel, for example. We cover everything from the Knicks to Israel. You get it all right here on Sid and Friends in the Morning. But when it comes to the economy and what it really looks like, I go to Kudlow. That's it. I don't listen to Jamie Dimon, or Bill Ackman, any one of these guys. I go to Larry Kudlow. So here he is, my dear friend, the brilliant Larry Kudlow. Larry, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good, Sid. Thank you. I'll never live up to it, but you're very kind.
You certainly do live up to it when the president employs you because he's so impressed and you get the ratings you get on radio and TV. You certainly live up to it. And I got to tell you, I love the fact, listen, it's difficult enough to be the Treasury Secretary, but when you're trying to do it during wartime and President Trump, because he's doing the right thing in Iran, has to face the economic issues that he is, you really come to find, and you say this all the time, Larry, what a great Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is, right?
Scott was my pick from day one, right after the election in November 24. And I think he's done a terrific job. And, it's important because nobody can predict the future, and nobody could have predicted the war. And he has stepped up and stepped in and done things to bankrupt and economically and financially choke off Iran that's never been done before. He's using tools that the Treasury Department has that had never been used or had never been used as aggressively as he is using them. I mean, once President Trump gave him the direction, basically it was Scott who engineered the blockade. It was Scott who engineered the embargo. And using, again, Treasury tools, it's Scott, by the way, who just took away almost $1 billion in cryptocurrency from the Iranian IRGC mullahs, the crazy radical Islamists who were running that place into the ground. That's a huge chunk. They want offshore. They're stealing and looting money from Iranian businesses and Iranian citizens and depositing it, in various banks in the Gulf and elsewhere, and that includes this haul of nearly $1 billion of cryptocurrency. Which, ironically, if you go back, Sid, a lot of people argued a few years ago, and I was in the White House. People were worried that cryptocurrency could avoid jurisdiction. Could use it for drug money and other nefarious purposes.
Yeah, like ransom money, because we kept hearing during the whole Nancy Guthrie saga that's what the bad guys wanted to do. Yeah.
But, it turns out that the, improving technologies for blockchain actually make it easier to follow crypto finance. And so what Scott Bessent and his team at Treasury, some of whom are my old deputies at the National Economic Council, what they've done is kept a careful watch, and now they've frozen it. They've seized it, and they've seized all these bank accounts, in countries that play both sides such as Qatar or Oman or others. And this has taken the financial guts out of the IRGC, which is just what we need. It's terribly important that we deny Iran money.
Yep.
And now what you see is, because they can't sell any oil, which the Treasury Department engineered, they can't sell any oil, so nobody's showing up. The cops aren't being paid. The troops aren't being paid. The police aren't showing up. It's fascinating, and it's starting to catch up. And I think whatever President Trump decides to do in terms of negotiating his red lines, which he seems to be holding fast on, this is economic and financial starvation. And the guy behind this economic fury is my pal Scott Bessent.
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal story.
He's been great. He has.
Phenomenal story.
Yeah, and Trump says that he may have a deal done as early as next week. But there is some fear, especially from Israelis. And you can appreciate this because Iran has been the country that has funded all those terror proxies, Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, that in this potential deal, the United States will loosen some of the restrictions and sanctions, Larry Kudlow, and Iran will get money. And when they get money, they have proven time and time again, it's not to feed the starving people on the streets. It's not to build schools or hospitals. They'll go right back to doing what they did before, which is fund groups to kill Jews and Americans. That's a fear out there.
Well, I think it is a fear, and I think that would be a big mistake. We were just out at the Reagan Library for this economic conference where I interviewed Scott Bessent. But one of the key themes that Reagan launched many, many years ago, 45 years ago, when he was bringing down Soviet communism, was trust but verify. And the verification procedures here are going to be very, very important. I don't know what they are. I am concerned about them. I agree with you. You do not want to loosen any of these financial sanctions. And there are rumors that part of a deal might be $12 billion in cash.
Ouch.
How that money is arrived at, I don't know. But I don't want them to have a nickel.
No.
Not a nickel.
I agree.
And then, of course, the Iranians somehow believe that they have $120 billion in frozen assets. Well, that's good. Those frozen assets, that's Scott Bessent freezing offshore bank accounts, okay? Keep the money. They must not get the money. This should amount to unconditional surrender. The red lines have to be in place. No nuclearization. The enriched fuel has to leave Iran and go to the United States. The Hormuz Strait has to be reopened with no conditions, no control by Iran. And their missile program, which they have already started to rebuild during this ceasefire, that has to be curbed also. And all of it, talking to Jack Keane about it last night on the TV show, all of this must have strict paragraph-by-paragraph verification. And you cannot let just a bunch of UN inspectors come in. This has to be done by Americans, presumably American troops.
100% agreed, because we tried this before. We know how that went. I do want to ask you, though, about the economy here. This is the great Larry Kudlow on ABC every weekend, and does a great job on Fox News every day. I go back to this movie I really enjoyed, Philadelphia, when no one knew about AIDS. Tom Hanks was brilliant in that movie. And Denzel Washington was the attorney in the movie. And he would say to the people that were trying to destroy Tom Hanks, he would say, speak to me like I'm a first grader. And I got to tell you, Larry, with most of my listeners who used to listen to Boomer Esiason talk about the Giants, but now I got them to come here, they're not all that savvy when it comes to the economy. So they hear from one side that the economy is bad, that interest rates are still too high, that inflation is still too high, that, that we're in trouble. And then even Jamie Dimon has said that, your friend Jamie. But then they hear from Larry Kudlow, no. Actually, the indicators show the economy is pretty good. So speak to me like I'm a first grader, Larry Kudlow. Is the economy good or bad? Bottom line, with midterms now, just a couple of months away.
The one that hurt there was Boomer on the Giants. Holy cow. That was killer.
I know.
Speaking as a diehard Giant fan. But anyway,
too.
The economy is business is booming. I just want to say that because you won't read about it, but business is booming. Business earnings, profits are booming. That's why the stock market is booming. Actually, the GDP, I know you can't eat GDP, but it's a measure of the economy. The GDP is growing at about 3%, despite the bump up in oil prices, which I might add, incidentally, oil prices are slowly coming down as ships are passing through now, the Strait of Hormuz. But the key point, even with gasoline at the pump, and I get it, and it hurts some people, and I do feel their pain on that, but it's a very big economy, and I've never seen such investment going on, which is a tremendous thing for the future of the country and the economy. Look, just to start with the stock market. I'm astonished at how media types do not want to look at the stock market, but that tells you whether there's confidence or not. And it also tells you about the future. The stock market is telling you that the economy is going to be good in the future. That's why it's breaking records. I mean, you're looking at unheralded numbers for the Dow 50,000 and the S&P 7,500. I mean, people with their 401ks and IRAs are doing very, very well right now. You've got the AI revolution. You've got all kinds of investments across the board. Even manufacturing, the last 3 or 4 months, has started to snap back. Just yesterday, we had the ISM's supply managers showing 54%, which was much higher than anybody thought. I think it's the third or fourth straight month. And I want to make a point here. Profits, which the left hates because it does show the health of business. The left hates business. Mamdani hates business. But the fact of the matter is profits are the mother's milk of stocks and the lifeblood of the economy. So when you combine all these profits plus tremendous increases in productivity for a variety of reasons, AI, but not only AI, you've got yourself a very spiffy economy that's probably growing around 3% despite the oil shock, the temporary oil shock, and these prices will come down. I mean, you can look at one thing after another. I mean, business, capital goods, machinery, equipment, factories. Last 3 months, orders are up 19% at an annual rate. Shipments are up 12.5% at an annual rate. You don't see those kind of numbers in a slump. I'm sorry. No. And here's the thing. When business is healthy, that means companies can hire workers and they can pay them increased wages. This is so important. And the cost of those wages are not inflationary. Unit labor costs are only 1.2%. Labor costs are rock bottom. Now, we have some inflation because of the oil shock, okay? But if you chop off the inflation, you're really looking at, I don't know, maybe 2.5% inflation. So is that a little tiny bit too high? Yes. But it's not cracking up the economy.
No, not much. No, not much. We were at 9, 12. Yeah.
Right. The Fed's target is 2.
Right.
You look at some of these measures from the Dallas Fed or the Cleveland Fed that chop off the highs and the lows. You're around 2.5%. So my point is, this is an economy driven by low taxes. It's an economy driven by a very light federal regulatory touch. It's being driven by drill, baby, drill. You got your oil people are pouring it on for oil and gas exploration and fracking and so forth, except in some of these stupid blue states like ours in New York. But the fact is, this stuff is running the economy hot. It's running the economy hot right now.
That's great. Love to hear it. So I got about 3 minutes to go. You mentioned Mamdani. So I was on Brian Kilmeade's television show on Fox News Sunday night. And he said, Sid, you were on with me before. You knew Mamdani was going to be bad for the Jewish people. This was parade day. He said, Is it even worse? I said, yeah. I can't imagine I'm saying this, but it's even worse. So I want to send it to you from the economy standpoint. We knew this guy's a communist, a socialist. Forget about the Jews for a second. From the economy standpoint, since he's become mayor, Larry Kudlow, is it even worse?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he hates business. He is a socialist. It's kind of interesting to me, this latest flap over housing. So he wants to actually take over the housing. He wants more public housing. It's old time socialism. It's like Joe Stalin or something.
Yeah.
Because the modern day socialists in the Democratic Party have run businesses into the ground through exorbitant regulations. This guy wants to actually take over the means of production. I mean, I haven't seen this since the 1930s and 1940s. Yeah. And it's really quite now. Is he going to get away with it? Well, he might. I don't know. Business leaders, most of these guys are very tepid. They're kind of afraid to criticize him, and meanwhile, they're slowly just moving out of here altogether. So I'd say his economic threat and his anti-business predilections are probably worse. But then again, he said all this stuff when he ran. It's just that we didn't believe it.
We didn't believe it, right, because he sounded so crazy. So would you recommend to your friend Ken Griffin, I know you've answered this before, but not on my show, would you recommend to your friend Ken Griffin, what are you, nuts? Because I know John Catsimatidis on this show yesterday said it publicly. Listen, I am limiting especially my real estate business, especially real estate. I am limiting it in New York right now because of Mamdani. Would you recommend to Ken Griffin, take it to Miami?
Well, he's going to have to do what he's going to have to do. I mean, John Catsimatidis is a fabulous businessman, wonderful human being. The fact is, they're going to have to make decisions, and they have to act in the interest of their shareholders. They have to act in the interest of their own business. Look, again, I come back to this point. The economy is made up of businesses. If businesses are unhealthy because the government is pressuring them or taking their profits away or over-regulating them and increasing costs, you have to protect yourself. You've got shareholders, you've got family members, you've got proprietors. They have to do what's in the best interest of their business. If that means moving out, then so be it. I mean, I thought the best rap against Mamdani's whole socialist approach was Jeff Bezos. He spared no language.
He was great.
He just ripped him to pieces.
Agreed. He was great.
And of course, Bezos had to go through this whole Amazon. Remember, it was AOL and her pals that stopped the
AOC,
Amazon.
right? AOC and that moron von Bramer, those two idiots in Queens that cost us jobs and money and who knows what. Yeah.
So look, the hottest places for business are in the South and the Sun Belt. All right, and actually, the single biggest hottest place is probably the state of Texas. But you've got Florida, you've got the Carolinas, you got over in the Sun Belt, Arizona. I mean, those are the places that are attracting capital, they're attracting people, and they're attracting money. So you just got to do what you got to do. If Mamdani wants to hang New York, look, he's not getting – Hochul's just as bad. She's just a little Mamdani light.
Right.
They're going to bankrupt the city, and at some point you probably have to have some kind of fiscal emergency review board to come in. But we'll see how this plays out. If he makes good and the city council follows through and the state legislature follows through, then we're in a heap of trouble here in New York. I hate to say it because I've lived in New York on and off for about 50 years, frankly, a few trips to Washington, D.C. in between. But the fact is, there's no Hugh Carey to rescue us right now, okay?
No.
There's no George Pataki to rescue us right now. Those are the big problems as I see it. Even in Ed Koch, I see they're trying to take away his bridge name.
They are.
It's so stupid. Who's going to rescue us? Every place you look, you see socialism this and socialism that, and then he won't go on the Israeli parade and he rides a stupid bicycle around. He's such an anti-Semitic,
anti-Semitic jerk. Well, the guy that can save us, Larry, is Bruce Blakeman. He's the guy that can save us.
Yes. No, I like Blakeman a lot. I like Bruce Blakeman. a lot. I mean, my first choice was always John Katz. I mean, I wanted him to be mayor or governor or something like that.
Yeah,
but he's got other fish to fry.
Yeah.
But yes, Blakeman is very good. Did a good job in Nassau. And look, we'll see. I mean, at some point, people get fed up. If you're taking your livelihood away, people start to rebel. And I'm not talking about the richest people. I'm not just talking about the Ken Griffiths. The people who can least afford the attack on business are the middle class, working folks, Hispanics, blacks, blue collars. They're the ones that don't have enough money to pick up and leave their business here and start over again in, let's say, in Dallas, Texas.
That's
or
true.
Some such
That's
place.
right. That's
They're
right.
the ones. It's very important to understand. It's the blue collar, working folks, middle class of all colors who are hurt the most by this crazy socialism and smothering of the economy. They're the ones who are hurt the most.
No, I had this conversation on this show just yesterday with our friend who's doing a great job running small businesses, Kelly Loeffler. And she knows it. She knows it. Kelly said, listen, I know we want to try to help the guy who owns a hardware store in Brooklyn who can't just move to Dallas, the guy you're talking about. So they're aware of it, the federal government, and you are and I am, but we'll see how it plays out.
We're losing our losing our advantages on the stock exchanges, on the currency, on the futures market. The heart of the financial district is being ripped away because, I mean, Jamie Dimon builds this multi-billion-dollar office building on Park Avenue, but meanwhile, the majority of his staff now is in Texas, not New York.
He can't make it up. It's true. I know. Larry, I think you're a beautiful man. You know that. You're awesome. I love you. I really do. Thank you for coming on. It's an honor, and you're great every time. Thank you so much.
All right, Sid. Take care. Appreciate it very much.
Keep up the great work. Larry Kudlow right there on WABC every weekend. Fox Business every day on Fox News.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
I got into a Genesis. This is luxury. Whether it's a sleek G70 or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.